The most powerful people in the country told us we had to mourn Lindsey Graham, that we were being unpatriotic if we didn't, and they will say the same thing for Mitch McConnell. No matter how disgusting these individuals are, they will always demand we be respectful and be civil. But what have they done after the state kills people, innocent people in the streets? What have they done? They've done nothing. They have done nothing to fundamentally change the systems that sentence people to death for doing nothing, for existing in their cars, for peacefully protesting, from trying to stop masked agents from harassing and attacking a woman in Minneapolis. And now today in Maine, ICE. ICE has killed another person. ICE has killed a father in front of his 3-year-old daughter who was wearing her pajamas in the car as masked agents shot her father. And that is just the beginning of all of the examples that I want to talk about, how everything has gotten worse. And it has gotten much worse today. There is a lot that we need to cover in this video. There's a lot of breaking news that we need to get into. I have a lot of thoughts for the Democrats who have told us to mourn Lindsey Graham and have yet to say anything about ICE, who refuse to say that we should abolish this terrorist agency. I've got a lot to say. But I want to start with this reporting of another man who has had his life tragically stolen from him by Donald Trump and his disgusting government.
All right, we do have breaking news out of Maine. We're just hearing from a state official that one person was killed in an ICE-involved shooting in the city of Biddeford, which is just south of Portland. I want to get to CNN's Rafael Romo, who's got the latest on this. Rafael, what are you learning here?
Hey, John, good morning. The shooting apparently happened in Biddeford, a city of 22,000 in York County, located about 18 miles southwest of Portland, the largest and most populous city in the state of Maine. We reached out to Biddeford police, and they confirmed there was an incident, but would not confirm if it was a shooting or the number of people injured. One thing they said, though, was that there is no current threat to the public. We later heard from Maine's House Speaker Ryan Fecteau, who posted the following statement on his personal Facebook page, and here I quote, "This morning," he said, "a shooting occurred in Biddeford. A person was killed. ICE was involved. State police and the Department of Public Safety are now on scene to gather details and would expect the FBI to investigate as well. These are the details that I have at this time," he said. "I will provide further updates as they are relayed to me." Also, John, CNN affiliate WGME is reporting that the shooting happened around 8 o'clock Eastern Time near Pool Street and that Maine State Police are on the scene. The shooting happened less than a week after an ICE agent fatally shot an immigrant during a traffic stop in Houston, sparking mass protests and demands for transparency. And of course, this is only the very beginning, John, of this new investigation. Now back to you.
Headquarters HQ, the liberal Twitter account, shared this photo. The man shot and killed by ICE in Biddeford, Maine, has been identified as a 26-year-old from Colombia. He was reportedly authorized to work in the U.S. and had been issued a social security number. Authorized to work in the U.S. and issued a social security number. A man on his way to work, gunned down in his car, with his 3-year-old daughter watching. That is Donald Trump's America. Are these the pro-life people? Are these the pro-family people? Are these the pro-worker people? I could go through the long list of hypocritical words and phrases that they use to cede any responsibility from themselves and put up barriers around their shameless political party of lies. But it's too obvious at this point to even have to do so. It is. And that is why people in Maine are already reacting on the ground like this, protesting outside of Susan Collins' office. There's more that I want to talk about in this video, so do stick around for the crazy shit that Trump is saying right now as his government kills more innocent people. But this is what it's like on the ground. This is what our feelings are. This is what our response, the people's response is. We need our electeds to live up to this.
17 minutes past the hour right now, anti-ICE protests outside the office of Senator Susan Collins after a deadly shooting in Maine involving an ICE agent. This is Biddeford, where the shooting happened about 25 minutes south of Portland. Our correspondent Alexis McAdams is reporting live here in New York City. She's got the latest details on what is happening there. Alexis?
Hey, Sandra. So as you can see here on your screen, this is a live look at what's going on in Maine. We know federal agents are trying to piece together everything that happened as witnesses tell local media that ICE agents surrounded a car and repeatedly ordered the driver to get out. Then seconds later, we're told they heard gunshots, and it was also captured on surveillance video. Listen to this.
This is how real Americans who actually care are responding. And yet there are still elected officials who refuse to say abolish ICE. They refuse. And I'm not talking about the Republicans. I know the Republicans are going to be Republicans. They're going to Republican. They're going to, get money from private prison contractors. They're going to take money from Palantir. They support this standing army because of course they do. They serve the capital owning class. Yeah. So it's no surprise, right? And any punishment for the Epstein class? Any punishment from anyone on the Epstein list? Nope, just a 26-year-old dad on his way to work. On his way to work. Just on his way to work. Just going to work to feed his family. And nothing. And, it kind of reminds me, and there's a clip I want to check out before we get to what Trump is saying, which will really piss you off. I'm sorry, this is not a fun video, but we have to make these videos. Because the mainstream media is not going to give this the coverage that it deserves. They didn't give it to Lorenzo Salgado Orojo. They didn't do that. So why would it be any different? Of course, they've killed someone else. But I remember after Renee Good was shot and killed in her car, another person shot and killed in their car. There were Democrats who said, I just don't think we need to say abolish ICE. I don't think we need to abolish ICE. They voted to fund ICE. And then what was it, less than 10 days later, Alex Preddy killed in the street, fired off 15 rounds, innocent man with his back turned. And they said, well, I regret that now. It took them 10 days to regret that. And why did they regret it? Is it because they actually felt regret, or is it because the political circumstance changed? It's because the political circumstance changed. And what was it about that political circumstance? What was it about that environment that changed? Another person was killed. And not a person, another. And so it begs the question for these corporate Democrats, for these Palantir dollar-taking Democrats, for these AIPAC Democrats, because of course, ICE trains with the IDF, with the Israeli military. They use their technology. Right, when they talk about this great partnership that America has with Israel, what a wonderful relationship. It is the tactics that they use against Palestinians that our police forces take. Like, that's the partnership. I'm serious. Like, that is the great partnership that we have with them. And so these Democrats eventually will hit a breaking point. But it's after a certain number of people are killed. For like the Tom Swazis and the Marie Gluesenkamp Perez's, these centrist AIPAC-y corporate Democrats, one person was like, well, that's going to happen. Two people, they're like, well, maybe I'll start to think about this. So the question isn't abolish ICE or not. It's how many people do you have to see killed before you're willing to say that? That is the reality. That is heartbreaking. We know what this agency does. We know what it is tasked with. It's not immigration enforcement. That could be handled by the DOJ or the Treasury. It is a paramilitary force of intimidation for Donald Trump and the Epstein class. And it's incredibly profitable for a handful of individuals. That's what it is. And so how could you not oppose that? It's wild. It is wild that you wouldn't oppose that. Which is why I'm glad that I was able to talk to Pramila Jayapal about this. Credible progressive champion in the House of Representatives. I asked her this question because of what Ruben Gallego said. It was on my On Sunday show yesterday. I thought her answer was perfect, and I'm glad it's exactly what she said. Senator Ruben Gallego recently had an interview with Mehdi Hassan and Zateo in which he said that he does believe that ICE does not need to exist in its current form and it needs to be taken down. But using the phrase abolish ICE is not something he will do because he says he wants to win elections. Now, in the interview, Senator Gallego didn't really elaborate on that more. What do you make of this notion that coming out that clearly and that strongly is something that will cost Democrats electorally? Do you believe that?
I think that may have been true back when abolish ICE was first used. I don't think that's true anymore. And I think I'm somebody who feels like it doesn't matter what you want to call it, but we have to disband ICE. We have to melt ICE. We have to abolish ICE, whatever word you want to use. What we need to get to is the end result, that ICE should not exist as it exists. And DHS should not exist as it exists. Like,
Yes.
There's no reason for DHS to exist. Immigration is a civil enforcement matter. It is not criminal. And that's what people keep not understanding. It is a civil enforcement matter. It used to be done out of the Department of Justice as a civil matter. Now it's been criminalized. It's been put into this massive agency that was created after 9/11 that should not be there, is completely unaccountable and sprawling. And so, I'm glad that Senator Gallego is saying that now. I wish he would have thought about that when he voted for Lake and Riley, because I do think that, but I also think that we're seeing a shift, I guess, is the main point. And that the country and the cruelty is motivating that shift. I wish people had stuck up for immigrants a long time ago. It's been an argument that Democrats have made for a long time. Don't talk about immigration, it's controversial.
Yes.
The exact opposite is true. We should lean into it. We should talk about it. We should explain it. We should defend immigrants and the role that they play in making our country what it is today.
That is what Democrats should sound like. That's it. That's not tough. They're killing people in the streets. And the worst people in our country are getting rich off that reality. Like, let's talk about that as well. The worst people are making money off of this happening. There's like, this bankrolls Peter Thiel. Do you think that that's a good use of our tax dollars? Really? No, it's not. It's not. But while people are being killed in the street, what is on Donald Trump's mind? I'm sure you can guess. It's Donald Trump.
And this will be equally as breathtaking. The air show that we're going to have is going to be, along with the car, is going to be something. We did the greatest air show, I think, ever on July 4th. They've never seen planes at that level. It was really quite a time. And then we had an event, and there was rain, and everybody was told to leave. There was lightning, and they didn't leave. And I said, we can't not do it. So we went back. I said, everybody, let's come back. And we had 425,000 people when we started. And they were thinking that it was a number much bigger than ever anticipated. And then everybody was told to go home, and I heard about that. I said, no way. So we called them all back. We ended up with 152,000 people. It was actually made hotter. This was made better and hotter by bad weather, believe it or not. I said, I don't care if I have to make the speech at 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter.
Americans are struggling to get by, working more hours than ever for less spending power than we've seen in decades, maybe ever. And they're getting killed on their way to those jobs. And Donald Trump's like, well, my speech was fantastic, and so many people showed up, which isn't true. The numbers aren't true. He's just lying. And you don't want to fully oppose this administration? Like, if you are a Democrat unwilling to stand up to this, you're not a Democrat. Stop going to work. Someone else will take your job and do it better. I'm so sick and tired of this because, like I said earlier in this video, for them, it is not about whether they believe that ICE should exist or not. They're just waiting to hit the magic number of people who have to die before they say it. And I don't want to wait for that. I want people to act and actually lead. It is the politically smart thing to do, and it is the morally right thing to do. Abolish ICE. It's that simple. It's what the people want. And I'm tired of that disconnect between those with power and those begging for the powerful people to do the right thing. So we got to organize more. We got to call them out more. We're going to do that on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.